All right, you guys, welcome back to the 2025 US Grand Prix race review. A lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. And if you guys are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. So, starting off, what everyone's talking about, Max Verstappen closing in yet again, came into this weekend, was it 63 points down on Piastri? Now 40. 40 points, 5 races to go. That's absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. We were saying after Zandvoort he was 100 plus down. It's like no way. And then and then Monza he won by 20 seconds and we're talking about it's just an outlier. And then Baku when Oscar had that horrible weekend, probably the worst weekend we've ever seen by a championship leader. We're saying, Oscar just had a bad weekend. It happens. He really hadn't had a torrentially bad weekend up to that point, if I'm even using the right word. But he's closing in, and Lando Norris is closing in. He was gained 8 points. That's a huge swing. That feels like one of the biggest swings we've had this season in favor of Lando since Australia, it feels like, to be honest. But yeah, all season it seems like Piastri's been consistently at the top, consistently on pole, second, third, maybe, but you can't be finishing 22 seconds behind your teammate and you know, letting Max Verstappen gain 15 points on you in the championship. And I know some people have been like, oh, they're sabotaging his car, oh, this and that. But no, Austin, he wasn't really good at. Mexico City, wasn't really good at. So it'll be interesting to look at his results there to see what else is happening. But Lando Norris, Max Verstappen closing in, and if you're McLaren, it's so hard because Max is now a threat, and suppose if it was 30, if the gap was 30 points like it was, a few races ago, you're easily saying, oh, back Piastri for the title. But now Lando has some momentum. He's only 14 points behind now, heading into Mexico City, and it's like now they're in a pickle because like you're not backing someone when their Max isn't even in the picture at this point, right? But now that Max is in the picture, you have to back someone, but you can't because your drivers are too close together in the championship, and it's just, is it their own fault? Yeah, kinda, with all the papaya rules. But this weekend, Oscar 3 tenths off his teammate in qualifying, 22 seconds off his teammate in the race behind old man Unc Lewis Hamilton. I mean, hmm, it's just not a good result for Piastri, and is Red Bull faster than McLaren? I think right now maybe yes. They're about the same, thereabouts. Maybe Red Bull slightly faster, maybe McLaren slightly faster, because Yuki being up in seventh, I would say the car is definitely better. Because back when McLaren was way better, he was down in you know 13, 14, 15, 16, that area, and struggling to score points. But now Max Verstappen, he didn't win by that much, to be honest. I mean, yeah, 8 seconds is a lot, but uh, it, I'm curious to to think about how much it would have been if Lando didn't get overtaken by Charles on lap one. I know it's hard to say, but it's not like Lando probably wouldn't have won, but he's used a lot of time and a lot of tire behind Charles, who Charles is one of, if not if not the best wheel to wheel racer in Formula One. Like that was amazing, and I don't know why Lando's getting hate for that because Charles is one of the best racers, wheel-to-wheel racers in on the entire grid and in the entire world, and you can't really hate on Lando for that when um, the Ferrari is it's not like the shit box that it was uh, in sprint qualifying. They found some pace, third and fourth. It's not bad at all, and especially being Charles being 15 seconds ahead of um, the championship leader, you can't say that Ferrari has a terrible car this weekend and for the Grand Prix. But it was a good battle from Lando and Charles, and to not accidentally crash himself out from Lando. But yeah, it was a great defense from Leclerc. Maybe Ferrari can build on this performance into the end of the season and maybe even win a race. Uh, Pop up as the fastest car randomly to a random weekend like Mercedes has done a couple of times this weekend. But yeah, um, if you're McLaren, it's a tough call. You can't really. If I had to choose a champion, who would I back? Would I back Max? 40 points is still a lot, and it has to be perfect. Like the car has to be good every weekend. No mechanical failures, no mistakes from Max, which he has made a couple this season. And then we're talking if he loses out by only a little bit, we're talking about Spain all over again. Um, but yeah, it's hard to say because it's just hard to say that Red Bull's just gonna come out the blocks firing every single weekend until the end of the season, but they have done so far since the summer break. But yeah, it's hard to say. But going to transitioning over to the Sainz and Antonelli incident, it unfortunately is Sainz's fault. I don't know what he was really thinking there, but he's taking a 5 place grid penalty into Mexico City. Unfortunately, he did deserve that. And a couple shout outs here, looking at Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hulkenberg, Ollie Behrman. Those are some good results for them. Nico Hulkenberg not before today or before yesterday, he wasn't really on form since Silverstone, and Ollie Behrman to get in another good points performance. Yuki Tsunoda, another good points performance, of course. He's been doing all right the last few races. He had that big points finish in Baku, and he had another points finish here in America. Nico Hulkenberg. Let's take a look. Yep, hadn't scored a point since Great Britain. And looking at the championship now, Hulkenberg up into ninth ahead of Isaac Hadjar. I'm very excited for this midfield battle. Um, I guess Hulkenberg all the way down to Liam Lawson, only separated by 11 points with 5 races to go. This midfield battle will be very, very interesting to watch, along with the championship battle. Um, and I'm very excited to see who will be on top. And transitioning to Alpine, speaking of Alpine, they still haven't scored a point since Belgium, where Pierre scored one. But and giving team orders when there's no points on the table is kind of crazy, to be honest, though, because Franco was absolutely quicker than Pierre at that point in time. But yeah, standings, Piastri lost out in the U.S., lost out in Singapore, lost out in Baku, lost out in Monza, won in the Netherlands, lost out in Hungary, won in Spa, lost out at Great Britain, lost out in Austria. So is that 7 of 9 he's lost out to Lando? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 out of 9. Yeah, 7 out of the 9 last weekends he's lost out to Lando. And if they finish 2, 3 the rest of the way, well, then Max would probably win the championship. But Piastri just looks nowhere close to Max at this point, and he looks nowhere close to Lando. Is the pressure getting to him a little bit? I'm not sure. Maybe it's just his struggle at the end of seasons, but he's got to figure something out. He really does. And that was a huge podium from Charles Leclerc. Ferrari looked terrible in sprint qualifying, just barely scraping through into Q3, but they do absolutely look better. And yeah, I think that's it for now. And make sure to like and subscribe. And oh, and Fernando scored a point. And I will see you guys tomorrow for driver ratings. Peace.